Hey, my friend, and welcome to Lesson 4. Here we are in Step 4, lights, camera, action. And now we're moving into Lesson 4. I love it, love it, love it. Commitment and consistency. Commitment and consistency, commitment and consistency. We could call it C&C, commitment and consistency. These are the keys, really, the keys to healing. There are lots of lessons. There's lots of things I'm talking about. They're all important or I wouldn't be sharing them. But commitment and consistency, I find, are the areas that people lose the momentum. They fall out of their dreams. They lose sight. It's through the lack of commitment and the lack of consistency. And they go together because you can't have one without the other, really, if you want to make any major changes. So let's jump into commitment and consistency. First off, why is it so important? Because you have to be accountable to yourself. Take that in. There are lots of times when the reason we show up in life is because somebody else expects us to. Somebody else asked us to, and somebody else wants us to. But I don't care about that. In this lesson, I'm looking for you to be accountable to you because you want it. So if you're wanting to have a healthier, stronger body, then you show up for you every single day. And if you're wanting to learn how to build a building, then you go to class every single day and you take the action. I want you to recognize nobody is going to do this for you. No one. And there's lots of people that'll support you and hold your hand. For sure, I'm one. I will cheerlead you. I will encourage you. I will support you. I'll be your believing eyes. But guess what? I also love you enough that I'll call you out. And I'll say, hey, wait a minute. Why are you not willing to show up for yourself? Sometimes we need people like that in our lives too, right? Sometimes we need someone that'll say, hey, whoa, you are not being kind to my friend. You being my friend. You with me? So commitment and consistency. This is about not only accountability to yourself, it's also about creating new patterns, new habits. And we've started some of those, but this is oftentimes what happens. It's like, how many of you have signed up to go to the gym on January 1st? And it's packed. You can't even get in. By the end of January, it's like it always is. Because people were not committed. They didn't stay consistent. This is not about judgment. It's not about right and wrong. It's not about good and bad, my friend. What it is about, though, is about what you really want. And are you willing to follow through and take the action? And if you're not, you don't want it bad enough. If you're not, you don't love yourself enough. So what that often means is you're still stuck in some pain. And if that's the case, you might actually want to go back to step 1 and see if there's some things that you're still working through. And that's normal because we're going to cycle through life and you may have to revisit some of the basics. When I'm talking about commitment and consistency, I'm asking you now, are you ready to take the action to rewrite those pain stories, to rewrite that emotional pain, to rewrite the story? And if you are, you've got to stick with it. We've got to stay focused. One foot in front of the other, in front of the other, in front of the other, so that we create new patterns, new habits. It'll be uncomfortable because you're not used to it. That's okay. Eventually, you'll be just fine. It'll be a part of nature. What I'd like you to do is get into a place where you're ready to create a habit and you're committed and you're consistent and that you've done it for at least 21 days. At least. They say it takes about 21 days to really get a habit moving, 63 days to cement it in. So 21 days where the habit's pretty, like we're pretty settled in it. Okay? 63 days for it to be kind of concrete. And of course, then you always have choice, and you could stop right in the middle of that if you wanted. But if it's important to you, if you love yourself enough, and we're on a self-love journey as we're elevating our lives, then it's going to start with you being committed and consistent to you and your dreams. And I'm here, and I'll hold your hand, and I'll cheerlead you, and I'll give you a little kick too. Just when you need it.